Welcome, science fiction fans, to this installment of That Sci-Fi Guy. Today's episode is 100% exciting, says Sean Edwards of Fox TV, because we all know how much Fox TV appreciates sci-fi. Well, here we go. Green World Day? Is Earth Day trademarked? Time for some foreshadowing.
Stopped. What's that, Dave? Nothing. How we doing?
Oh, we're ready.
Good morning. Before I begin, let me...
David? I'll go get help.
What the hell? Did I put in the wrong DVD? So the movie continues with random people dropping dead for no apparent reason. Lots of death and panic. That's actually a pretty good way to start a movie. Next, we meet our hero, Dr. Joshua Keyes, played by Harvey Dent. Harvey is trying to be that hip-with-the-students college professor.
How the nails coming, Christine?
Well, teaching about how sound waves travel through different densities of rock.
Here we go.
Two agents from governmentcharacteractors.com then interrupt Harvey's class.
Please come with us, sir.
They explain, well, nothing,
What's going on?
seeing as they are only peons to the man.
What do you mean you don't know?
Your security clearance is higher than ours.
I have security clearance?
I'm sorry, you're not cleared to know that. This week's episode of House begins with a room full of dead bodies.
Oh my. Whoa.
And as if that wasn't overly dramatic enough,
You were in the wrong place. You would have already been shot.
another military actor they
didn't
grab
look sick
from
first.
1-800
Simply
Dial a
hit the
Ball
ground.
Guy asks if they can figure out the puzzle of how these people
My
died.
first guess, no.
They all died at the same time.
As far as we can tell, to the second. I need a reason.
Is there variation in sex, age, body
That
type?
wouldn't help us narrow down what
But narrows down who?
autoimmune disease.
ANA at autopsy of all 4 victims were normal.
Wouldn't cover vasculitis.
They all had pacemakers.
Under a minute.
How'd you guess? I mean, he specializes in high-energy weapons. I do geomagnetics. So calling us means you suspect an electromagnetic pulse weapon. If these are the only fatalities,
Stop.
they must be people...
It was an EMP that killed these people? Then why were the traffic lights still working? Never mind. Continue.
Did some sort of weapon kill these people?
And the power that you would need to create an EM pulse strong enough. I mean, that's not a weapon that I've ever heard of.
Okay, we're done.
That was it? You brought us here for this?
We're not done, sir. There's nothing on the other side of the equal sign.
So in true House fashion, Harvey Dent just can't let this puzzle go unsolved. Using the powers of his Cylon and Bob Saget's nephew, he comes to a shocking conclusion.
Be wrong. Be wrong.
That they're not going to share with us just yet.
Will you make sure my assistant has your number, darling?
He then brings his findings to be confirmed by a caricature of Carl Sagan.
Dr. Zimski.
Yes, what's your name?
Josh Keyes.
Josh.
No, sir, I don't need you to not sign it. I need you to read that.
I'm sorry, I don't have time.
That wasn't very Carl Sagan-esque. Dr. Wiki.
Carl Sagan was an American astronomer, astrochemist, author, and highly successful popularizer of astronomy, astrophysics, and other natural sciences. He was not a douche.
Meanwhile, London comes under attack by a remake of Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. You know, this scene is cool and all, but what the hell is going on?
Some birds use the Earth's magnetic field for navigation in order to migrate long distances.
Okay, while it is a cool scene, it really bugs me, because sure, they won't know which way is west, but they're not blind. Oh, okay, I see where this is going. This is one of those disaster movies, isn't it? Okay, so we have our hero and our douche. So now I guess we're gonna need a weird-looking geek, some red shirts, and a girl. Oh my god, it's spinning out of control! Oh, it's just landing. I guess no one wants to see it at the real speed in this kind of movie anyway. It's here that we meet Hilary Swank, a plucky young shuttle pilot who only needs a chance to prove herself. And her commander, played by none other than Captain Christopher Pike. because we all know how Captain Pike's future turns out. So after the shuttle clears the atmosphere, Houston notices that they are way off course and about to hit downtown LA. They only have one system in place to check that sort of thing? And somehow, Hilary Swank with a map and a grease pencil manages to come up with a landing site before the guys at NASA who have a room full of computers and rocket scientists. Ultimately, they aim for John Connor. Then they open all the brake flaps and somehow steer the shuttle while hydroplaning using that one tiny wheel, I guess, to dodge the bridges. They can't honestly expect us to believe this. Well, I guess this is as good a time as any for this. They're still going too fast, so they raise their landing gear and nearly slide into a group of construction workers. Comedically. Harvey is summoned by the government again, but this time to explain how bad the situation really is.
Dr. Zimsky informs us that you made a useful contribution to his investigations.
Yeah, like all of it.
Now, why don't you begin, and I'll fill in all the difficult bits.
Wow! This isn't just not quite Carl Sagan, this is like, what if Carl Sagan was a cigarette-smoking, idea-stealing asshole, instead of a pot-smoking free-thinker? A bizarro Sagan, if you will.
Science is a selfless business, dear boy.
But do me a favor, try to keep it brief.
Alright, I'll put this as simply as I can. Everybody on Earth is dead in a year.
Okay, maybe not that brief.
Why? The core. There's two parts. The inner core and the outer core. You following me? The inner core, it's a big solid chunk of iron. And that's surrounded by the outer core. And that is liquid.
Yes, but most importantly, this liquid is constantly spinning. So 1 trillion tons of hot metal spinning at 1,000 miles an hour.
The spinning liquid outer core is the engine that drives the EM field. And that's where we have our problem.
The core of the Earth has stopped spinning.
It stopped spinning? Stopped? How much mass was that again?
1 trillion tons of hot metal spinning at 1,000 miles an hour.
And it stopped? Holy shit!
As the EM field becomes more and more unstable, we'll start seeing isolated incidents.
Wait, you just said it stopped spinning. Maybe we're unclear on how EM fields work. Dr. Wiki, remind us.
An electromagnet is a type of magnet whose magnetic field is produced by the flow of electric current. The magnetic field collapses when the current ceases.
You know, if they said the rotation had become erratic, causing EM field fluctuations, that actually would have made sense. If it had actually stopped, things would be much worse. Science fiction doesn't always need to have the most perfectly accurate science. It is called science fiction. I think it's okay to bend the laws of science, or break them even, if it's to help you tell your story. But that being said, there is a difference between bending the laws of science to help tell your story, and just making people dumber for watching it.
How do we fix it?
We can't.
Not in my vocabulary.
Even if we somehow came up with a brilliant plan to fix the core, we just can't get there.
Yes, but what if we could?
Uh-huh. I see where this is going. It's here that we meet Dr. Brazelton, played by Delroy Lindo, who, as it turns out, is developing a ship for just such a purpose. Convenient. His plan is to use a giant laser, just like in the movie Real Genius.
Sorry about the window, sir.
And the trees across the quad!
Only enormous!
I'm combining high-frequency pulse lasers with resonance tube ultrasonics.
Okay, so we have our techno-babbly way to clear a path. Now tell me, how is this ship going to survive down there?
I combine the crystals in a tungsten-titanium matrix at supercool temperatures. That's what did the trick.
What do you call this material?
Well, its real name has 37 syllables. I call it unobtainium.
Unobtainium?
Engineers have used the term unobtainium since the 1950s when referring to unusual or costly materials perfect for their needs that don't exist. Similarly, the term has been used in science fiction to refer to any substance needed to build some device critical to the plot, but does not exist in the universe as we know it.
The unobtainium will take the heat and the pressure and transform it to energy, which in turn will reinforce the shell of the ship, you see. So the hotter And the deeper she gets, the stronger she gets.
When do you think the ship will be operational?
12. 10 years, 10 years.
What would it take to get it done in 3 months?
$50 billion.
Will you take a check?
Why don't you use a credit card to get miles?
Next, what we have is an outline of everything that could possibly go wrong.
Dr. Brazelton will supervise the building of a ship, which is capable of reaching the center of our planet.
This is a program I designed to simulate the effect of nuclear detonations on the core. A tiny nudge in any direction will force the core back into its normal flow.
What's a tiny nudge in planetary terms?
About 1,000 megaton.
Please pay no attention to the fact that this is a two-dimensional simulation of a three-dimensional phenomenon.
You know, I know I'm not the expert here, but what if the core is thicker or thinner? I mean, it's not what you think it is. Isn't that going to affect the way the explosions are?
Yes. And what if the core is made of cheese?
Backup plans? Please, let the scientists handle this part, Pike.
The ship will be powered by a small experimental nuclear reactor and will be divided into 6 compartments.
But if we do breach a section, bulkhead doors engage automatically, seal off the section in red, and eject.
Well, I'm sure that won't be necessary. So, tell me, how are you planning on navigating down there?
Well, I invented it. It's how you're gonna steer underground.
It's, not very good reception.
It's like a CAT scan at a hospital, but it's souped up. I invented it for deep earth surveying, and then the government came in, bought my research.
Wow, that takes some balls to just walk up to a machine you've never seen before and start flipping switches. And why are they using some magic MRI machine when they clearly set up for him to use sound waves in the first scene? And sound waves even make more sense! Next, we meet Rat.
We need your help.
What kind of help?
We need you to control the flow of information on the internet.
Control the internet?
You want me to hack the planet?
Hack the planet?
Hack the planet!
Seriously? No, that's just stupid. Especially when anyone can go outside and see the northern lights. So I'm sure you're gonna need some sort of ridiculous payment for this too, huh?
I'm gonna need an unlimited supply of Xenotapes and Hot Pockets.
Moving on. Hey, you know, we haven't blown anything up in a while. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to play Disaster-O-Matic! And stop! The Roman Colosseum? The big monument made out of stone.
Few people know this, but the Romans actually invented rebar.
Are you sure?
As sure as I am that the first Roman emperor was Stephen Colberticus.
By this point, things have gotten really bad, so it's time to get this movie going.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch.
So this is where the movie goes down the toilet. Literally. But seriously, on the way down, they point out rather blatantly that the ship makes sounds that attract whales.
They're singing to us.
Well, Virgil's resonance tubes were powered up, so the vibrating subsonically actually we're singing to them.
Wait, why are there lights on that ship? There are obviously no windows, and they use that crazy MRI system to navigate. So what exactly are the lights for? Anyway, they plunge into the crust where they lose contact with Mission Control.
And we've got a signal.
What? I can't even get signal in an elevator.
Doctors Zimsky and Keyes, what do you make of this?
Anything that we can't go through displays as black, so what's static?
Bad reception. Try some tinfoil.
It's nothing. It's empty space. I never taught the computer how to read empty space.
You mean like the space between the lead wall and the vase from earlier?
I never taught Virgil how to fly.
So they have no choice but to brace for impact as they plummet helplessly into the unknown. Their ship crashes and they slide for a really long time through a underground fortress of solitude until they get stuck.
Anybody hurt? Whatever has us jammed up is inside our laser. Shut them down.
They then decide that the best course of action is to get out of the ship? Okay.
Oh, it's magnificent.
Oh my god.
It's like a crystal Grand Canyon.
I think it's a geode.
A geode? In the middle of the Earth?
You know, some scientists believe this is actually possible.
Really? Okay. They start to cut the crystal that's jammed in their lasers, when they notice that the hole where the ship entered has become unstable, and the lava begins to pour in. And yes, I call it lava, not magma, because it is erupted. Now wait a second. They fell and slid pretty far. That hole is damn near right over them. In fact, it's like right in front of them. Now that's just lazy. Hey guys, the lava that's erupting from the ceiling? You notice how it's melting the crystals? Why don't you get back in the ship? Your problem is gonna solve itself in a couple of minutes. Oh no, the cutting machine broke. Now we can't cut through the crystal that's gonna melt in a couple of minutes anyway. Whatever will we do? Oh, I don't know. Get back in the ship? No, Harvey decides to be a hero, or just has a death wish, and uses his oxygen supply to save the day, almost killing himself in the process.
I fixed it now, cut! That's good! It's working now!
They break the crystal free, even though they didn't really need to, and they get the lasers going again.
Yes! I think we're gonna swim right out of this one!
Yep, saw that coming. Of course, things have to be denser than the liquid that they're in the sink, but whatever, let's not harbor. And look at that, they slide right back in. Of course, that would have happened anyway if they had just waited. Then we have our basic good news, bad news scenario.
Well, we're alive and we're moving.
That's good news.
Commander Iverson died, but we're living and he'd want us to complete our mission, so I think that it's important that we all, Thank you.
Who's driving? Are they sleeping on this voyage, or are they all on Red Bull and meth? They're getting close to the core, so they begin to ready the nukes, a procedure that takes some careful and steady hands. Let's hope nothing forces them to make hard turns all of a sudden.
We're not supposed to go through anything black.
Yes, so please don't.
What is this?
Oh my god. They're diamonds.
Right.
Diamonds. I want some.
Hey, it looks like we're in the clear.
Of course, they also thought that on the Titanic.
Breach!
Wait, don't forget the detonators!
Take the diamonds! Joshua! Come on, sir! Come on! No! Payloads!
Dude, that was plenty of time for Surge to get through that door! Why didn't he just dive for it? Why didn't Harvey grab him and pull?
We can get him!
Yes, like that! With about the same amount of time as Surge had! Delroy Lindo then opens up a rat's nest of wires. But despite having built the ship, has no idea what to do from there.
Okay.
While Harvey turns into the biggest whiner I've ever seen from a macho hero type.
Override the ejection system!
The doors never get opened and the poor red shirt, Surge, dies. You know, the pressure would have popped his head like a grape before the walls actually crushed him, but...
If you would have hit that switch, I could have got him out of there.
Funny, the way I saw it, you could have got him out of there if you had just tried.
I was 2 inches from him!
Yeah, I know. You totally could have saved him.
I was 2 inches and I told you to put the door...
Whine.
I was screaming.
Somebody
for
call
you.
the ambulance.
Why didn't you do it?
Well, after that depressing scene, we need an action beat. Welcome back to the Disaster-O-Matic! And kablamo! Okay, so someone clearly didn't do their homework on suspension bridges. See these? These are high-tension cables, so they should be pulling these towers the other way.
Right here.
Well, judging by the look on his face, Harvey must have taken this time to rub one out.
We just got a huge speed jump. We're at 95 knots. 110.
30. 140. Our speeds jump because the density of the core is different than our estimate.
Oh my god! It is made of cheese!
Raz,
Yeah.
would you please punch the new core density into the equations for the nuclear detonation?
Please tell me this is enough.
Really?
This core material's too thin.
What?
The energy waves from the explosion won't spread far enough, they'll just bleed away into nothing.
Well, I guess it's a good thing Pike died. Because now you don't have to hear I told you so.
That's it. We go home.
Okay, I'm down with that.
We have failed, and we go to the alternative.
What alternative? What are you talking about?
General, this is Dr. Konrad Zimsky. Destiny is a go.
What makes you think that Destiny would even touch the core?
Because it already did. This isn't a fluke.
So the EMP that killed all those people in the first scene is this giant spark plug of doom? And you think it's a good idea to use it again?
I'm afraid it's all we've got. Now, I have orders from the President. Come home, Virgil. We go to Plan B.
Well, what about Plan C?
What?
Well, Plan C. You continue on. We restart the core. Somehow. We don't do it. You fire Destiny.
What are you, crazy? Plan C? Restart the core somehow? Oh, that's a great idea! You! Turn it around! No! I'm gonna die like this! That's what I wanna die! I don't wanna die! Shut up!
God, it's about time someone did that. When he comes to, Bizarro Sagan has an idea.
All right. I'm hitting him again.
No, Brass, no, look, I have a theory.
If they break up the several nukes that were wired together and set them off one at a time, it could work. So then it becomes a race to get Plan C underway before Destiny is fired. They realized that the nukes would be crushed the second that they were out of their bullshitium shell, so they have the brilliant idea of using the ship's pods to set up their plan. The only problem is...
What?
Virgil's not designed to eject undamaged compartments.
Of course! Oh, and the master gear to unlock the overrides? Behind a hatch exposed to core fluid. Brilliant.
I built the ship in 3 damn months. I'm sorry.
That's why the sink is also the toilet.
So what you're saying is whoever goes into that crawl space is not coming back.
And who's gonna get to go out into it? The black guy.
Raz,
Yeah.
you're right. It is your ship. But I wish to God it had been ours.
That's your tender moment? I wish I could have gotten half the credit on your ship? Man, you're a douchebag.
You got the touch! You got the power!
He unlocks the ejector overrides, tells them to let the core fluid in, because apparently Delroy Lindo is the only one on this ship capable of pulling somebody through a door.
Gotcha.
Meanwhile, with seconds left on the countdown, weird-looking Geek diverts the energy required to fire Destiny.
Where the hell's it gone? Well, how long will it take to get it back online? Well, then get to it.
Oh, hey, General. Is there something I could do for you?
Pong? Isn't there something you should be doing, like controlling the internet?
Ejecting. Ejecting.
Okay, wait. It isn't designed to eject undamaged pods, but he put switches on the dash for it? I call bullshit.
Wavelengths in the core fluid off the MRI readings.
Yeah, and multiplied them by
600.
After setting their plan in motion, they realize they need to compensate by making the last explosion bigger.
The last bomb has to be 30% larger.
So that's 6 or 7 pounds of plutonium. Where are we going to get 6 or 7 pounds of plutonium?
Well, your ship is running on a nuclear reactor, but it would be preposterous to try to use that. Sudden turbulence knocks the ship around and a bomb pins Bizarro Sagan.
Zemsky! Josh, go! 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 Get out! Get out!
No, there's not enough time! Look at how closed that door is! You'll never make it!
You tell me now.
No, he's not actually gonna try that, is he? It's time to snap into some plutonium. Ooh, yeah! So he shuts down the power and pulls the plutonium from the reactor by hand, and then drags it down the hall and sets it next to the last bomb. Because all you have to do is set some plutonium near a bomb to make their precisely calculated explosions work. Oh, and the eject button still works with no power. Okay, earlier he explained that unobtainium gets stronger under heat and pressure. This is the center of the Earth. How could these things possibly still explode? Well, they do for some reason. And now it's just a waiting game. Well, the waiting game sucks. Let's play Hungry Hungry Hippos.
First detonation.
It's 9,000 degrees.
What? 9,000?
Unobtainium converts heat to energy.
Oh, of course. This is plot devicium. Just weld some wires to the walls and run them into the engine. Again, there's no exact science to this. Lucky for them, unobtainium runs at the same voltage as their ship.
We've got full rotation!
Correct. What's the center of this quake?
It's everywhere. It's one giant shockwave. The planet's healing itself.
Yeah, that's what it's doing. Healing itself. I think I just soiled my pants. They surf their way back home along the current of the explosions. Exactly how are they steering again? I mean, I understand when the ship was whole, it probably used the compartments like a snake to maneuver, but now it's just one car. Are you really telling me that they're pulling high-speed maneuvers with a couple of screws? Don't you just hate the unflushable?
Okay, let's assess. We've got no communications. We're probably 800 feet down, but we might as well be 800 miles. We're in an unobtainium cigar tube with the sonar signature of a rock. We've got just enough power to make the ultrasonics burp, but no one's listening on those frequencies anyway. And nobody even knows we're alive.
This is hopeless.
Come on, General.
Wait, why is the geek there? Isn't he supposed to be controlling the internet?
Well, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Captain, but I think we're done here.
All looks lost when suddenly...
Whales! It's whales!
That's not really a house moth. No, that deserves something more like this.
The ultrasonics! They're singing to them! You gotta find the whales!
So the survivors are rescued from the ocean floor, only to die weeks later from the radiation exposure. All in all, this wasn't a horrible movie. It had decent effects, and the action beats do keep you pumped. I wouldn't say it was 100% exciting, but as long as you can ignore logic and any science you might know, you might just enjoy a fun ride. Until next time, science fiction fans, here's your sci-fi clip of the day.
Hey, don't open that! It's an alien planet! Is there air? You don't know!